let's start with a very important topic, that is reaction of the phenols. As we all know that phenols, what is a phenol? Let me draw it. This is my phenol. The oxygen has two pair of lone pairs, and we know that due to the presence of these two lone pairs and OH group, it is a ring activator. So what does it do? It activates the ring. And we also remember from our past videos that these are ortho and para directing. So we will just keep these two things in mind while we are talking about different reactions that phenol undergo. Now the very first one that I'll start here with is nitration. Right. Now if I talk about something from your previous class 11th, then we had done that if I want to convert benzene to nitrobenzene, what will I do? What will I need here? I need nitrating mixture. Do you remember? This is nitrating mixture. Now what is this nitrating mixture? It is a mixture of concentrated sulfuric acid and concentrated nitric acid, H2SO4 plus HNO3. Now what is the function of this H2SO4? The function of this H2SO4 is almost to generate nitronium ion from here. Now what is this? This is my electrophile. Now this electrophile will be released due to H2SO4 and it will get attached to the benzene ring. Why? Benzene ring has 3 pi bonds and therefore the electron density is more here because of the resonance. Now when I talk about phenol, if I want to do the same nitration with phenol, then what will happen? Now this is my phenol. I want to do the nitration of phenol. Now the few things that you'll have to keep in mind is that there are 2 lone pairs here. Now due to presence of these 2 lone pairs, this was phenol. This is an electron donating group which will result into plus R effect. This is all from your class 11th, or I can also say it is an activating group. Now since it is an activating group, therefore it gives electrons to the ring. I am just explaining the entire process in a little detail so that you know why this is happening and not just what happens when nitration of phenol is done, right? So now this is going to give you electrons on the ring. Now this will make ring, or just a simple language, that it will make the ring electron rich. Now we also know that phenol has acidic character. We have already done this. So now when phenol is already acidic, so it helps in nitration automatically. Since it is already acidic, it will help in the nitration even in milder conditions. What do you mean by milder conditions? When you were using 2 concentrated acids, the conditions were very strong. It was strongly acidic. Now when the reactant is already acidic itself, so now the nitration can be done under mild conditions also. So if I use dilute HNO3, I can say I am using the milder conditions. Now what will happen? Now we just talked about that because of the OH group present, this activates the ring and it is ortho-para directing. So what will happen if you do the nitration of phenol under milder conditions? The NO2 group that was released, the electrophile that was released, will go where? It will go to the ortho position and it will go to the para position. This is ortho and this is para, right? Now what will happen? Which is the major and which is the minor product? You know, this is the major product and this is the minor product. Why this is major? Because this is more stable. Why is it more stable? Because there is no steric hindrance. What is steric hindrance? Steric hindrance means we can in simple language say that there is no traffic around here. We can easily approach the ring. So this compound is more stable than this compound, hence it is the major product. Now there is a technical glitch when we talk about how to separate the minor and the major, or the ortho and the para product. Now understand how will we separate minor and major and what is the basic difference between these two. Now when you talk about this is my ortho product and this is my para product. Now what is happening in this is the oxygen from the nitro group present at the ortho position is forming a bond with the H of the hydroxyl group present in the phenol. Now what is happening here is there is intramolecular hydrogen bonding happening. That means it is within the same molecule. But what is happening with the para position, since the OH and the NO2 group were far off, they cannot form a bond between themselves. But at the same time, the oxygen from the nitro group of one compound or one molecule can form the hydrogen bond with the hydrogen of the hydroxyl group of the other molecule. Right? So what is happening here? Here it is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Right. Now what is the main issue here? When I talk about intramolecular hydrogen bonding, यहाँ पे बेटा क्या हुआ है? The molecule has formed a bond within themselves. किसी और molecule से तो उसने bond बनाया ही नहीं. And that is why I can say here that intramolecular forces of attraction are less. Because whatever the bond is between the same molecule only. So the intramolecular forces of attraction are less. Hence I can say it is free to move. And if it is free to move, I can say it is more volatile. Do you get my point? What is more volatile? Which will evaporate on its own. And that can only happen when the bonds present are very weak. So what is happening here? The bonds are weaker. The intramolecular forces of attraction are weaker. The molecule is free to move and hence it is more volatile. But at the same time, when I talk about intermolecular hydrogen bonding, what is the case? Both the molecules, the OH and NO2 is far apart. So it is forming an intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Hence I can say the intermolecular forces of attraction are high. Since they are high, the molecule is not free to move. It is bonded. And hence it is less volatile. It will not rise easily. Rather it doesn't do. What do you do is when you get a mixture of products, that is ortho and para as your products, after any reaction, we do steam distillation. And in steam distillation, what happens is the compound which is more volatile is escaped out and can be collected later. So which one is more steam volatile? The more steam volatile is your intramolecular hydrogen bonding due to lesser intermolecular forces of attraction, right? This is steam volatile. We perform steam distillation and this molecule can be easily separated. You saw what happened when you tried nitration of phenol with milder conditions, like you only use dilute HNO3. Now, but still if I add my nitrating mixture, what was my nitrating mixture? It was conc HNO3 with conc concentrated sulfuric acid. Right. So what was the case earlier? The earlier case was that phenol is already acidic. So it is already helping in the nitration. So what was happening even in the milder conditions, the electrophile NO2 plus was generated and the attack was happening. But now what is the case here? The case here is that since you have used such concentrated conditions, now what is happening is your electrophile is released in excess, right? So much of concentrated acids were used, so the electrophile released is in excess. Now what will it do is, and you knew that OH is your activating group. So now when so much of electrophile was used, it has activated all the three positions. What three positions? Both the ortho and the para. So now the attack will occur at all the three positions together. Right? Now, this is called as, this is obviously, I'll just write it here like this, NO2, so that you know that the bond is from the nitrogen only. Right? Now what is the name? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the name of this compound is 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol, and commonly we call it as picric acid. So how is this picric acid produced? When you do the nitration of phenol with very high concentrated conditions, highly acidic conditions, all the three positions get activated and NO2 goes and attack all those three positions, and it forms picric acid, which is 2,4,6 trinitrophenol. Now my question is, why is this called as an acid? Till now we have seen that acid is acid term in organic we use where there is very easy release of H plus ions, or we use it for carboxylic acid. Why is this called as an acid? Now look here very carefully. This is my picric acid. Now we all know that nitro group is highly electron withdrawing group, right? So what will it do is it will start taking electrons from the ring. Right, now the electrons have been taken away from the ring. The electron density on the benzene ring decreases. Now what will oxygen do is, oxygen was having two lone pairs, it will start giving it here. So now in all these incidents, what is happening? The bond with the OH is becoming weak. Right, so now the release of H plus is very easy from this compound. So since this is easy, it will be called as an acid. I will explain again. There are three nitro groups which will withdraw the electrons from the benzene ring, and this OH group will give the electron towards the benzene ring, which in turn will weaken the OH bond here, and H can be released easily from this compound. Hence we say that this compound is behaving like an acid. Now the second type of reactions of phenols that we need to talk about is halogenation. Halogenation, again the addition of or the attack of halogens. Now I am going to talk about bromination specifically here, and the rest of the halogenation you can understand from this only. Now what is bromination? If you remember again in class 11 that we did that whenever you want to do bromination of benzene, what you needed was you needed a bromine molecule and any Lewis acid. For example, you used anhydrous AlCl3, FeBr3, FeCl3 and so on, and the product you formed was this. One of the bromine got attacked here and one of the hydrogen from here was replaced, and it attacked with the other bromine atom. Now why we used this Lewis acid? This Lewis acid was used so that it can cleave bromine-bromine bond heterolytically. Now what do you mean by this? We mean that this bromine-bromine bond was broken like this. One of the bromine had taken the electron and the other had lost it, the electron from the bond, and this became negative entity because it has taken the electron pair from the bond and this has lost it, so it has become positive. Now it was very easy for this electrophile to go and attack any empty space on the benzene ring, right? Br plus was my electrophile. So what was the function? It was the function was to generate an electrophile. Now if I want to do the bromination of phenol, right, I want to do bromination of phenol, so what do I need? I need bromine, obviously, but I do not need a Lewis acid for the bromination of benzene. Why? First reason can be that phenol is acidic. We already talked about it. The second reason is that OH is your electron donating group, right? So it is activating group. So what it has done has, it has already increased electron density in the ring. So cleavage of bromine occurs on its own. काम क्या था लुईस एसिड का? लुईस एसिड का काम था कि ब्रोमीन का मॉलिक्यूल टूट जाए. टूट जाएगा तो क्या करेगा वो, क्योंकि हमारी रिंग इज ऑलरेडी नेगेटिव, इट विल गो एंड अटैक देयर, राइट? बट हियर माई रिंग इज ऑलरेडी हाईली नेगेटिव बिकॉज OH is my activating group. It has donated the electron pairs towards the ring and it has made the electron ring very electronegative already. So it is, when it is already electronegative, bromine molecule will break on its own and the electrophile would be generated. Now what has happened, it has I have added bromine molecule, I do not require the Lewis acid. Now the second condition, if this reaction is occurring under a non-polar solvent. Now what is a non-polar solvent? Non-polar solvent is a molecular which is non-polar. It doesn't have a permanent dipole moment. For example, I can say carbon disulfide, I can say it is chloroform, or it can be carbon tetrachloride, any molecule non-polar solvent that you can think of. Also it can, I'll just talk about this a minute later. Now what will happen is that again, due to this activating group, the ortho and para positions are electron rich, so my electrophile will go and attack at ortho position and it will also go and attack at my para position. Again, which is going to be the major and minor product? This is going to be my major product, no traffic. It is having less steric hindrance, so it is my more stable and the major product of the reaction. This is going to be my minor product, right? Now this reaction also occurs at very low temperature. Even at 0 degrees Celsius it will occur. Now there is one more issue that we need to deal with here. Now if the same reaction above, which in which I had phenol, I had already added the bromine molecule and this was occurring under a non-polar solvent. But what if this reaction occurs with a polar solvent? For example, the most common example for our polar solvent is our water, where the dipole moment is not equal to 0. Now what will happen? Will the products be same as the above case, or the products are going to be different here? Now because we have water and we have bromine molecule, what happens here is that phenol gets ionized. Now what do you mean by that phenol gets ionized? Please listen to this very carefully. You had water, you had phenol. Yes. Now what has happened, that this H, you remember phenol is acidic, so this will form a phenoxide ion and this will react like this. So phenol gets oxidized and phenoxide ion is formed. And now let me tell you that this phenoxide ion, it is more activating than phenol. It is even more stronger activating group than a phenol. So now what will it do is, it will activate again all the positions that are there on phenol. I am repeating again, when phenol reacted with water, it has produced phenoxide ion, which is a more activating group than phenol. So now it has activated all the positions of the phenol. Now again what will happen? Bromine will go and attack all the three positions. What will be the name of this compound? It is going to be 2,4,6 tribromophenol. So again, like nitration, the products are different if you just change the reagent and the conditions a little bit. Also, one more important thing that you need to remember here is, what if I tell you that I have given you a test tube, right? I have given you a test tube and I have added a compound here and I want you to check if it is phenol, right? So now what you can do is, if you want to just confirm, you just add bromine in here, right? If you add bromine in here in your aqueous medium, that is your water, what will it form? It will form 2,4,6 tribromophenol. And the beauty of this reaction is that it forms a white PPT. It is not soluble, it is a white precipitate. So the moment, if it was phenol and you added bromine in presence of water, what it formed a white precipitate. So it got confirmed. So this reaction can also be used to distinguish between different compounds given to you. So if you want to identify if the given compound is phenol, just add bromine. If you got the white precipitate, yes, it was phenol. And if there was no white precipitate, you can say the compound given to you was not phenol. Let's talk about next reaction, which is also a name reaction in the syllabus, and that is called as Kolbe's reaction. Now what is happening in this reaction is that phenol is first treated with NaOH. Now as I told you that again it is a polar solvent, so what would it have produced? It would have produced a phenoxide ion, and Na plus from here goes and gets attached here. Now again the reaction is occurring through formation of a phenoxide ion, which I told you is more activating. It is more activating than phenol. Therefore, it undergoes electrophilic substitution reaction even with a weak electrophile, which is carbon dioxide here in this case. Right now, and you get a product which is called as 2-hydroxy benzoic acid, or you also call it as salicylic acid. Now you will ask me why there is only ortho product and there is no para product. Now you also know that ortho positions are more electron rich. When there was a phenoxide ion, both the ortho positions were activated more. The reason being that I effect also dies off with the distance. You remember in class 11th we talked about, as the distance from the donor or the withdrawing group increases, the I effect dies out. So from this phenoxide ion, this ortho positions were more closer, and this effect will die off as you talk about the para position, which is far off. It is at the maximum distance from your OH group. So we will have only one major product, that is your ortho group. The other name reaction in the syllabus for phenol is Reimer-Tiemann reaction. Now these are the name of the two scientists. What is this reaction? This reaction is basically the formylation of phenol using CHCl3 in basic medium. So in place of NaOH here, you can use KOH also. Now what is happening? What is formylation? Formylation is introduction of aldehyde group here. So what has happened? An aldehyde group has been attached after this reaction was done. Now also in this reaction, since there is aqueous medium here and again the phenoxide ion would be generated, so again we have only one ortho product here, no para product is possible. So remember, whenever the reaction is going through the formation of phenoxide ion, there is ortho product as the major product. Now what is this compound called as? This is called as, can you guess? This is orthohydroxy benzaldehyde. Also it is called as salicylaldehyde, right? Also please note here that whenever the above reaction, the Reimer-Tiemann reaction, occurs with phenol with CCl4 and a base and then followed by hydrolysis, it gives us salicylic acid and not salicylaldehyde. This is the difference between both of them, right? And also just now let's come and talk about the very important reaction. This reaction you will use in many of the conversions many of your find the product type of questions. This is a very important reaction when it comes to phenol. It is that whenever phenol is treated with zinc dust, benzene is formed along with ZNO. So whenever you are required or you want to remove the OH group from the benzene ring and you want to have a benzene ring, you can directly react your phenol with zinc dust and you will have your benzene. Please mark this reaction as very important. Now the last reaction of phenol that we need to discuss is whenever you treat phenol with chromic acid, it gives you a conjugated diketone which is called as benzoquinone, right? So this is the, whenever you try or in the presence of air, phenols slowly get oxidized to dark mixtures, right? And these dark mixtures contain quinones.